Today we're going to look at should be a short exercise using tapply, and we're going to do 3 of them, and they're all pretty similar, but I'm going to do all 3 of them because I found the repetition helpful, and you may as well. Otherwise, if you want to just look at one, the first one's going to be applying the sum function, and the second one's going to be applying a mean, and then we'll do the sum again with a different file, so you can follow along with however much you find helpful. So the question that we're going to look at is this. So it's one of the exercise boxes, and if you're following along in the book, again, this is the first edition. This is on page 65 that it refers to it. And the exercise box, first one is to load the text file, and I like to put it into a variable. So I'll put it into X, and I've been using read.table, so I'll keep doing that. And then I'll look again to remind myself I want to do a file, header, how I'll separate it, quote. I've not been using most of those, and that should be good. I have been using comment character, which it didn't show there on this one. But I'll probably keep using it. So the first one is I have been using, okay, I'll do it this way. I started using file and the default, which I found that I really liked, and mine is saved in a little bit different spot. I'm pretty familiar where it is now. Corp R, and otherwise it's in the same. So underscore input files dot data frame v text. Okay, so I have myself a double quote. And the header. Okay, so the reason I'm going to do a header is true is this is the first row is going to be recognized as containing the column name, so that those are going to, the first row is the header. Sep, going to be separated by tabs, has been working for me. And I say it has been working for me because I didn't create these files, but they seem to be tab separated. And if I did create them, then I would know for sure what they were separated by and what would work. What else? I almost always do this to remind myself. That was already up here. Oh, quote. There shouldn't be any quotes in here, but this makes it so that if there were any, then it won't treat them in any unusual way. I think it essentially disables it as far as I understand. And here's the comment character, so the way that I'll do it, I believe again will disable it so it won't treat it in a way that I don't expect, and that's all that I'll do. So if I just put in the file name and default to this, if I typed it correctly, it should all go well. Oops, I did shift, control, enter, and that read it well. So since I'm still working on the different options for reading in the file, I'm going to copy this, and the second way that worked really well was to do choose files, and then I had to remember to take away the equal sign, and then otherwise it was all the same. So then doing choose files, if it didn't give me any error and this were the correct file and it's there, then I just say open, and it accomplishes the same thing. Nothing changes. So continuing on, it's all available for further processing. We want to use tapply to determine first the sum length. So we could attach it and be able to refer directly to these. I'm going to do that because it will make the rest of it easier. So we'll attach X. And now we'll do T apply. And just because we're starting here to work with T apply, I'll do a question mark so we can look at it. So the first one is the vector that we will be applying the function to, and we want to sum the length. So we're going to be applying it to the length. It's all capitals. Length. And the second one should be the factors. And the factors, where are we? Of objects and subjects, so that's going to be the relation. And then the function that we want to do is to sum them. Let's run it. And it returns them as a vector with names of each one. So we can have it return as a list with the simplify option. And I ran it as that so that I could see what happens, putting it into Y, and then seeing what Y is. So that's exactly what we have right here. And just to see what would happen with tapply with the simplify as not the default, which is false, it gives a list. Oops, I was going to give another one. And I think it's worth being aware of that. In this particular, it's so simple that I don't know why we would want a list. But as a list, each list has just one single item in the vector. So it's worth noting. The next one, the average length. So again, we're looking at, we want to know the length. I'm going to copy this. We want to know the length, but instead of looking at the factor of relation, we want to know definite versus indefinite, which is definiteness. And instead of summing, we want to find the average length. So that will be the mean. And we'll run it, and there we have it. So the definite are, the average is less. So, not too complicated, a pretty quick statement with the tapply, which I think is one of the things that we were looking at before. So the next one is to load this file, and I couldn't find this file from whenever I worked at it before, but I did find the a file that I worked with before that used singular and plural and the number of occurrences or the frequencies. So let me see what I have here. That is an, oh, I already have pulled up. So it's this one right here. I'm just going to copy the name so that I can refer to it, and to save myself time typing all this back in, it's going to be another read statement to load it in. The question asks us to put it into data frame EPP, and this time for me, my location is in output files. I have it in the subfolder Cara, and then this right here is the name of the text file. And actually I was going to point out here how I double checked that it is the one that I want. I just opened it up in a text file and saw that I had singular and plural and a number of frequencies. So that is the one that I want. Everything else is the same because the first row in the file is the column names. Cannot open it. So what did I mistype? Well, I wasn't expecting that. I went back to look at what I did before. Try one more time. No. Actually, what I did before was choose.files. Let's see if that makes any difference. Well, that is strange. Doing file equal, it didn't find it. I might have to go back and look at why that is, where when I did this one, it doesn't have any problem reading it. Okay, I probably should not spend too much time on here, but since I didn't encounter this before, it makes me very curious. How strange. Anyway, we can do the choose file. This one works. I'm going to comment out this one since I don't know what the problem here is. And where are we at in our question? So compute the sum of occurrences of singular and plural. So this is going to be a t-apply. Oh, we haven't attached it, so I'm going to attach EPP, run it, and we want to be able to sum the occurrences. So the occurrences, let me run EPP so we can look at what the column is called, frequencies. And the category, factors will be number, and then we want to sum. And there we have the number of plural and the number of singulars, and that is it. We'll stop there.